Hello, and welcome to the 5th video in my PGR lore series. Today we will be entering Chapter 5 of the main story, Shattered Illusion. Previously in Chapter 4, we escaped the collapsing mansion but ended up stranded in the desert, where we were attacked by and introduced to Watanabe, the leader of the Forsaken. We convince him to take us to a nearby Forsaken survey point for resupply, but are attacked by hordes of Corrupted. In the chaos, Watanabe escapes and kidnaps Liv. We chase them to a research facility where we are attacked by a Corrupted known as Visago. After defeating it, we head into the facility to rescue Liv. The remaining members of Grey Raven wait outside as Kamui scouts the building looking for a safe way to advance further in. While waiting, Lucia expresses her worry for Liv, but Lee reminds her that Liv is the only one of them to have military honors of the highest rank, making her the only Grey Raven member who has been in the military before becoming a construct, and that they shouldn't worry too much about her condition and focus on the task at hand. At the end of their conversation, Kamui returns and relays the most effective paths for infiltration. We enter the facility, and after scanning the area, we think it might be some type of artificial biosphere, but Lee notes all the inconsistencies in the area and compares it more to a mind space, saying the facility might have been used for mind experiments. While we move through the facility, we are caught in a visual distortion field and the group lose sight of each other before being attacked by Corrupted. After clearing out the Corrupted, Lucia, Lee, and Commandant manage to find each other, but Kamui is still missing. Lee figures out the disruption is being caused by EM projectors displaying false images in the room, with Lee saying they need to destroy the projectors to remove the EM disturbance. They begin searching the room and destroying any projectors they come across, attempting to return the room to its natural state. They continue destroying the projectors for a time, but the total number is unknown. This is when Lee remembers that his brother gave him a graviton detector as a gift, and Lee can use this to map out the area and better locate the missing projectors. Lee reveals he has one of Kamui's EMP grenades and can use it to disable multiple projectors at once. We fight our way to an optimal location, and Lee detonates the EMP grenade to disrupt all the projectors at once and reveal the true form of the room, as well as reuniting the group with Kamui, who had gotten lost and broke his comms equipment. We prepare ourselves to move further into the facility, but the projectors begin to restart themselves. Knowing we cannot find Liv in the time we have left before they come back online, Lee plans to find the projector control panel. But before Lee can act, Kamui rushes in to destroy the projectors the old-fashioned way, saying the work will go much smoother with his help. Seeing his recklessness, Lee wonders how Kamui was able to complete missions with his carefree attitude, speculating he might be hiding something from the group. During the fight, we encounter a special Royal Guard type Corrupted, and after defeating it, Lee takes the time to analyze its memory files, where we learn the facility used to be a museum that was later converted to do mind research. And even though the mechs within the facility have no minds of their own, they are capable of extracting consciousness data from other constructs and feeding them into a central server. This is behavior that is very unusual for Corrupted, and we speculate the machines must have been influenced by some other intelligent entity. Lee discovers that the Corrupted are taking orders from Gabriel, and Kamui mentions he might be one of the Ascendants he is tracking. Lee says that a consciousness deteriorates the longer it is inside of a container, so they need to take more mind data and inject it into the projectors for observation to keep up the quality of the simulations. Lee interrupts and asks Lee if it is possible to copy a person's consciousness. Lee questions why she would even be asking this question and explains that only the highest level of Babylonia powers have the ability or the skill to meddle with consciousness data, and even so, it has been strictly forbidden by Babylonia. And this leads him to revealing the mind data in the facility all belong to Forsaken members. Lee taps into some of the mind data and is able to tell that Watanabe and Liv both came this way earlier. We follow the route shown in the memory and are found by Nanami, who blows a hole in the building wall and meets the Grey Ravens. At first, she refuses to help because she doesn't like Lee, but after Lucia agrees to be her friend, she tells us where Liv is, only because she finds Lucia cute. We follow Nanami's directions and arrive at the central server, only to find Watanabe and the Forsaken surrounding an unconscious Liv who has connected to the terminal. Watanabe explains that she was able to free the trapped Forsaken members, but could not escape herself, and the Forsaken do not have the technology needed to enter in and save her. Hearing this, Commandant activates his mind beacon to link Lucia and Lee to Liv so they can try and save Liv, who is being imprisoned inside her own mind by a living manifestation of her memories called a pseudo-consciousness. We enter Liv's mind, managing to locate both her and the copy. After defeating the pseudo-consciousness, the mind space begins to collapse, and we escape, bringing Liv back with us. Watanabe gives Liv her apology for the kidnapping and promises to help Grey Raven whenever they are in the area to repay the debt for helping him out. Liv and Watanabe get to the facility, and Watanabe explains that a large number of Forsaken squads had their consciousness trapped, with Watanabe explaining that they were unable to resist due to their outdated mind tech. They fight their way forward, with Watanabe pushing through the casualties, saying it would be an insult to their comrades if they gave up now. Finally, they make it to the central control terminal, and Liv gets to work saving the trapped Forsaken members. While inside the terminal, it creates a copy of Liv's mind, and it begins to hunt her down as she tries to find an exit for herself. She continues fighting and hiding, trying to get around the pseudo-consciousness, and with the Forsaken members' help, she finally manages to find an exit point. But the pseudo-consciousness reappears and closes the exit, preventing her from leaving until Grey Raven eventually arrives to save her. Alright, and that wraps up all of Chapter 5. I hope the video was good this time. I put in a lot more clips apart from game text, especially because the game text in Chapter 5 moves super slow. I have no idea what that's about. I like how Lucia is asking Lee about if it's possible to mess with consciousness data, or can you like wipe memories and stuff. That sounds super telling. Definitely a few tinfoil hat theories going on with that. Yeah, that about wraps it up. Super short. Chapter didn't have a lot in it. But I hope to see you all in the next video, where we'll go over Chapter 6 of the main story, Alloy Contamination.